Packages with these devices. What we are excited is this is a leveraged turnkey solution so that at scale we can bring forever. All of Google.
We drew inspiration from paper and ink. However, unlike real paper, our digital material can expand, reform, and reshape intelligently. Material has physical surfaces and edges because the human mind is wired at its most primitive level to instinctively understand objects and their relationships. Those seams and shadows provide meaning about what you can touch and how it will move. In the real world, every small change in position and depth creates subtle but important changes in lighting and shadows. So as part of the L preview, we'll now allow app developers to specify an elevation value for any UI surface. And the framework will render it in correct perspective with virtual light sources and real-time shadows. Material design is beautiful and bold because clean typographic layouts are simple and easy to understand. Your content is the focus. So the L preview will allow app developers to easily colorize all framework elements in your app to match the theme to your brand. And we're previewing a new support library that we call Palette to easily extract colors from images and really put those vivid pictures front and center. We're giving designers familiar tools like baseline grids that work across screens. Grids ensure apps have a consistent rhythm and character, and this will allow you to start with a design on a phone and logically and easily bring that same design to tablets and laptops. Now, one design doesn't mean one size fits all. Our guidelines allow you to appropriately adapt the UI. So your users will already know their way around your app no matter what screen they use it on. And we've also updated our system font, Roboto, so that designers and developers can use one typeface designed and optimized for every screen, from your watch to your laptop to your television. So now let's talk about animation. It's delightful when your touch is rewarded with motion. And material surfaces slide around with the physics of cardstock. But they respond to touch with splashes of virtual ink that are like ripples in a pond. As part of the L preview, all of your application's UI building blocks have been updated to include rich animated touch feedback. And no detail is too small to bring a smile to your face, like when the reload button loops around or the playback controls can change. Finally, in the real world, nothing teleports from one place to another. And that's why it's so important to animate every change on screen in a way that makes sense. In the L preview, Android developers will now be able to create seamless animations from any screen to any other, between activities, and even between apps. So you're probably wondering how this looks like in practice. We're going to give you a sneak peek at one of our familiar Google applications in the new material design. Here you can see step by step how we update the design. The typography, the grid changes, and finally the surfaces and bold colors. And a few small changes make a really big difference. And you can also see how easy it is to take that same design to different screens. Now, I've talked about only a few of the highlights of material design and just some of the APIs that you can try out in the Android L preview. But as we all know, people spend an enormous amount of time on the web, and especially the mobile web. Last year at I/O, we announced Polymer, which is a powerful new UI library for the web. Today, we're bringing you all of the material design capabilities to the web through Polymer. As a web developer, you'll be able to build applications out of material design building blocks with all of the same surfaces, bold graphics, and smooth animations at 60 frames per second. That was good. So between the L preview and Polymer, you can bring the same rich, fluid material design to every screen. And to help you take full advantage of this framework, we've also completely redesigned and created one unified set of style guidelines for every screen and for all devices. These guidelines will help designers and developers alike understand best practices and build consistent, beautiful experiences. We're releasing the first draft of these guidelines as part of our preview today at google.com/design. And now that you've seen our new look and feel, I'd like to invite Dave Burke to show you some of the new features in the Android L developer preview.
All right, so over the last 8 months, our team has been busy cooking up the biggest release in the history of Android. And as Sundar mentioned, we've added over 5,000 new APIs, touching nearly every aspect of the system. Now, we don't have time to even come close to covering everything in L today. So instead, what I'd like to do is walk you through some of the highlights of the tremendous steps we're taking on the user experience and on the performance of the underlying platform. So let's start with user experience. Now, bringing material to L is, of course, a big part of what we're trying to do here. We've added a new material theme. So it's a new style for your application that includes new system widgets, transition animations, and animated touch feedback. We've also added new animation support. So a new drawable for animated ripples, a reveal animator to animate a clipping circle to reveal views. And we've extended views to not just have an X and Y component, but also a Z component to provide elevation. So you can float elements of your UI, and the framework will cast a real-time shadow for you. My favorite feature that we've added in support of material is the ability to customize activity, entry, and exit animations. You can even include a shared hero element. For example, an image that starts in one activity and animates seamlessly through translation and scaling into another. So let's take a look at this in practice. Let's have a look at an app we're all familiar with, which is the phone dialer. Thanks, Marcelo. OK, so the first thing you'll notice when you fire up the phone dialer are those bold material colors and shadows. And you'll see the ripple touch effect as I touch each of these tabs, and you get a more subtle material touch effect on the recent calls. You'll see that the dialer button has its elevation set, so it's floating above the UI. And as I tap it, you get these really nice, delightful animations. Now, another feature we added to support material is something we call nested scrolling. And the idea is, as I scroll, we propagate the scroll events up the view hierarchy, and different parts of your views can respond differently. So for example, as I scroll upwards here, you'll notice that the recent call to Marcella will start to shrink and disappear. Then the search box will start getting pushed upwards, and the tabs will lock into place. It's a really nice effect. So let's go over to the dialer. So it turns out my mom's a big fan of material design. I need to go call her up and tell her about how to set elevations on her views. I know she loves that. So let's go start dialing. And you'll see that ripple touch effect again emanating out from the buttons. Then when I go to place a call, you'll see a view animator, and will animate into the in-call screen like so. So it's a really nice effect. OK, so that's a quick taster of material in L. And what you're seeing here is really a sneak peek of work in progress. We wanted to give you guys early access so you could start bringing material to your apps. And we also recognize that changing the UI in such a big way will take some time. So we started with the dialer as a showcase. Over the coming summer months, we'll be extending material to all aspects of our apps and the system. And the result is going to be a dramatically enhanced, fresh user experience. OK, So another area where we've improved the user experience on L is around notifications. One of the most frequent reasons we all take our phone out of our pocket every day is to respond to incoming notifications. We all do this dozens and dozens of times a day. So we wanted to streamline the process. Everything from the phone buzzing to you acting on the notification. In L, we give you instant interactive access to notifications right from the lock screen. So now you can read, open, and dismiss in seconds. So let's take a look at my device. The first thing you'll see are all my top notifications on the lock screen. And we're rendering them as sheets of material. They animate really beautifully. If I touch them, you can see that material touch effect. Now in L, we've improved the way Android organizes and prioritizes notifications by analyzing user behavior to make sure only the most useful, relevant notifications are presented to you. I can swipe down, and I get my full list of notifications. And we've done a clever thing here where we've merged the notification shade, so something that's been in Android since 1.0, with the lock screen. And so from here, I can double tap on a notification to launch the corresponding app. Or if there's something I don't need, I can just dismiss with a single swipe. And to unlock the phone, well, this is just the notification shade. So you just swipe it away, and you're straight into the device. Fast and simple. We've also introduced a new type of notification in L that we call a heads-up notification. And this can be used to let you know about something urgent without interrupting what you're doing. So let's say I'm playing my new favorite game, which is piano tiles, and I'm going along here, about to get my highest score ever, and then all of a sudden, I get a call from Marcelo. So from here, I can keep going, or if I want to act on it, I can answer it, or if I'm busy, swipe it away. And then I can go back to my game and get the highest score that I've ever got in public. Yeah, all right. That's actually my worst score I've ever got. OK, anyway, let's move on. So while we've made the notifications more powerful, if you're one of the approximately 50% of people who has a pin or pattern lock, you waste many minutes a day cumulatively on that fiddly task of entering your pin. So we figured there's got to be a better way. In L, we're introducing a new concept we call personal unlocking. And personal unlocking enables the device to determine if it's in a trusted environment, say in the owner's hand or beside the owner on a table. Personal unlocking uses signals beside the owner on a table. Personal unlocking uses signals such as locations you designate, Bluetooth devices that are visible, even your unique voice print. So for example, let's have a look at this device. Thanks, Marcelo. So I currently have a pattern lock on this device. But because I'm wearing a Bluetooth watch, my phone knows it's me who's present. And so it doesn't challenge me with an unlock. So for example, if I just swipe up, the phone will unlock just like that. Now, let me just reset that. If I take my watch off, let me just hand it to Marcelo. OK, so now my phone can no longer see the watch. And because of that, my phone cannot ascertain if it's me who's present. As a result, my phone will lock down its security. So now when I go to unlock the device, it presents me with a pin lock. It's a really great feature. So that's a few of the user experience improvements we've made to support material and notifications. Another area of L where we're significantly improving the user experience is around how we've integrated the mobile web into the platform. So to learn more, let me invite up Avni Shah to the stage.
Thanks, Dave. A core part of your experience with mobile devices is the mobile web. Just to get a sense of the growth that we've been seeing, at the beginning of last year, we had 27 million monthly active users of Chrome on mobile. Today, we have more than 300 million. That's 10x growth. Yeah, it's awesome. It's 10x growth in just the last year alone. And what that means for us is that we need to make the mobile web work well for our developers and our users. Today, I'm going to talk about 3 ways we're going to do that. We're enabling material design experiences on the mobile web. We're redesigning recents to help you multitask. And we're extending our capabilities of app indexing to help people get to where they want to go faster. So first, let's talk about material design. One of the big parts of your experience with the mobile web is, well, obviously, the websites themselves. They need to work well. They need to look great. They need to be fun to use. You heard Matthias earlier talking about the philosophy of material design, a bold, consistent, intuitive experience that just works across screens. Well, we've been working really hard at making those experiences not just possible, but the new standard for the mobile web. To show you what this looks like, my good friend Tom here is going to walk us through an exploration of Google.com search results on the mobile web, re-envisioned with material design. So Tom, let's go ahead and do that search for a starry night. Now, the first thing that you see here is that this panel is rendered as a beautiful material style card. You notice the use of color. The title is on a blue background that was actually programmatically matched to the painting. And if Tom clicks on to expand the card, you'll notice that it filled the screen with a continuous animation. If he scrolls, the header will shrink. It won't pop into place, but it has a smooth animation that just makes sense. Now let's go ahead and click on the suggestion at the bottom to get more of Van Gogh's artwork. And you'll see those search results also smoothly animated into place. Tom's going to continue to give us some demo eye candy over here. And while this is just an exploration that you're seeing, I want to mention that this is fast, fluid, continuous animation at 60 frames per second. This thing just wasn't possible a year ago. We've been working really hard at improving the performance and predictability of the platform to make things like this possible. For example, this demo shows off the work that we've done on touch latency, giving you as a developer notice of touch events earlier in the frame so you have more time to act. And as Matthias mentioned earlier, with Polymer, our UI toolkit for the web, all of you can build web experiences that feel as awesome as this. The next big area we've been thinking about is how to help you multitask. And we think the recent feature in Android is one way we can actually make this easier, especially as tasks cross both the web and apps. So once again, Tom is going to walk us through the changes here. So Tom, let's go ahead and click on that Recents icon in the lower right. Now, as Tom scrolls through, the first thing that you'll notice is Recents has also been grounded in material design. You'll notice the overlapping cards have been rendered with realistic
Voilà. Donc, comme vous pouvez l'entendre ici, en ce moment, on a la présentation des nouveautés de Google. Donc, le début de la vidéo a un peu bugué. Je m'en excuse. Ici, on a une femme qui est la directrice d'une branche de Google qui nous présente les nouvelles fonctionnalités d'Android, comme le site internet de Google qui a été mis à jour dans un but d'avoir une meilleure ergonomie graphique sur le site.
So let's go ahead and click on that doc and see what your friends have to say.
Voilà, elle explique. Rien de spécial pour le moment. Peut-être d'autres annonces vont arriver. On ne sait jamais.
I've heard great things about statebird provisions. Let's check out that article here.
Donc là, elle montre qu'il y a des différentes. Maintenant, quand on est sur un site,
now, what you see here as this loads, this is
on va
actually
pouvoir
loading as a
avoir
website in
des
Chrome.
nouvelles
You'll
choses,
notice the
des
URL
nouvelles
at the top.
transitions.
Now, if Tom pops it back into Recents, that page is now listed there along with all of his other open stuff. I want to point out what the big difference is here. This is a view you couldn't get before today. If you wanted to get to all your open websites, you'd have to go into Chrome and kind of flip through them there. But by bringing all of your individual Chrome tabs here and listing them in your Recents view, we're making it really easy for you to move between the web and apps, making multitasking just that much easier. And
Donc là, ça applaudit. En fait, on a les présentations des dernières nouveautés. Donc là, elle explique les nouveautés de Google Chrome, qui est un navigateur web de Google que vous utilisez peut-être. Donc c'est les dernières nouveautés fraîches qui viennent d'arriver, donc en direct de la Keynote. Donc là, elle explique les Google, les recherches sur Google, parce que là, on est quand même à la conférence de Google, donc mots-clés Android, enfin, toutes les nouveautés.
Since then, we've been working on a ton of UI improvements and extending some APIs to make this more powerful.
Donc là, ça s'adresse surtout aux développeurs et aux nouveautés que pour importer les prochaines versions de Google Chrome.
Good things about it over by the Embarcadero. As Tom scrolls through the search results, you'll see close to the top there's a link for the home page to Waterbar. And near the bottom of the screen, there's actually in the middle of the screen, there's a result for OpenTable.
Donc ici, on a une interface unifiée qui s'adaptera au terminal. On a de nouvelles mises à jour qui ont été mises en place depuis le début de la Keynote, par exemple avec Gmail, avec des meilleurs bords, et beaucoup de mises à jour du côté des apps non Android. Et on a quand même la copie de Apple en général.
Up until now, this was only available to a few applications, but today we're opening it up to all Android app developers globally, along with some tools to get you started. Yeah.
Donc pour ça, on a les favoris en carrousel comme les onglets sur l'application Safari d'iOS et on a des interfaces plus dégagées que je trouve. Donc ils ont fait du nouveau travail. Ils ont vraiment copié Apple avec l'iOS. C'est vraiment du copiage complet, quoi.
So we're adding a new API in Google Play Services to do just that. So let's quickly show you how this works. Tom found this really cool 3D tour of the ferry building earlier, and he wants to get back to it. So starting with the search box on his home screen, he's going to do a search for ferry building. And what you'll notice at the bottom of the screen is there is a search suggestion for ferry building marketplace in the Google Earth app. And this is there because this was the app that he was using when he found that tour before, even if he himself didn't remember. With a single click, he'll get taken directly to the tour of the ferry building within the Google Earth app. Now, this is possible because the app is making its content available based on its users' previous actions. We just showed you this with Google Earth, but any app that utilizes this new API will have the same capability.
Donc là, ici, on a une mise à jour de Google Earth qui s'intègre pas mal à l'application native sur Android, avec des vues qu'on peut voir qui sont vraiment de très bonne qualité. Ici, on va avoir une démonstration. Donc, il y a un ingénieur de Google qui vient montrer au public les nouveautés.
So we've covered some of the highlights of the user experience, but there's lots of other user experience improvements in L. For example, a new keyboard UI, do not disturb mode, new quick settings, and much more.
Donc là, il vient, il nous parle des expériences que l'on peut avoir avec Android et qu'il va y en avoir des toutes nouvelles.
Let's start with the Android virtual machine. So you might remember that we made a very
ici, il va
early version
expliquer
of our new
quelles sont les nouvelles performances, la rapidité, le graphisme, mais aussi la durée de vie de la batterie. Donc par exemple pour la rapidité, on a des nouvelles choses, ARM, x86, bon, c'est des termes très techniques, mais qui nous permettront de comprendre qu'il va y avoir des nouveautés de rapidité sur l'appareil, avec du graphisme et aussi de la durée de vie pour la batterie.
So we wrote art from the ground up to support a mix of ahead-of-time compile, just-in-time compile, and interpreted code. And it's truly cross-platform, so it supports ARM, x86, and MIPS. We put a lot of effort into optimizing Art's backend compilers, and this has resulted in a 2x improvement performance over Dalvik. And best of all, this one is on us. You don't have to make a single change. All of your app code just gets the performance improvement for free. Art also has a brand new garbage collector and memory allocator.
Donc on voit que les comparaisons du Nexus par rapport au revers et les comparaisons sont vraiment époustouflantes et que vraiment le graphisme est vraiment de bonne qualité.
First, you'll notice the number of pauses have reduced from 2 to 1,
système d'exploitation malgré tout, quand même avec la concurrence de Apple. Et on a des nouvelles API dans Google, j'ai oublié de vous en parler. Je vois certains Mac dans le public, ça me fait de la peine pour eux quand même, parce que ils présentent des nouveautés, Google, et ils ont des Macs dans le public, bon, ça fait un peu mal. Et on voit que donc, voilà. Donc, pour l'instant, il y a un nouveau Android Runtime exclusif pour Android L, et Dalvik va bien sortir. Pour rappel, Dalvik a valu quelques déboires Google sur les droits de Java appartenant à Oracle. Voilà.
We've adapted and optimized the entire
sur du 74 bits, on a des nouvelles choses. Cross-platform support, no notification for child language, increased addressable memory space, newer instruction sets, and a large number of registers.
So to take advantage of 64-bit, we've added support
Là, on voit qu'à son poignet, il y a une petite montre Android, donc c'est plutôt rigolo de sa part.
And of course, if your app is written in Java, then it will work with absolutely no modification on new 64-bit hardware. Okay, so that's CPU performance. The other side of the coin is GPU performance, graphics. And I'm really excited about some of the things that we're doing in L in this area. So historically, mobile graphics has lagged desktop by virtue of the fact that mobile GPUs are smaller and more power constrained. But that's changing quickly. Mobile GPU performance is catching up with console graphics and even PC graphics. So in L, we specifically wanted to close the gap between desktop DX11 class graphics capabilities and mobile. And we're doing that with something we call Android Extension Pack. So we set out to work with GPU vendors, including NVIDIA, Qualcomm, ARM, and Imagination Technologies. And together we defined the Android Extension Pack. So it's a set of features that includes things like tessellation, geometry shaders, compute shaders, and advanced ASTC texture compression. So let's take a look at the Android Extension Pack in action. And what you're about to see is Epic's Unreal Engine 4 desktop rendering pipeline running on Android L on the latest NVIDIA tablet hardware. Now, the Android Pack. So, if you're squeamish, you might want to look away right now.
You want to play? Okay.
So you have to excuse some of the flickers. It's a veritable electromagnetic storm up here. OK, so as I mentioned, this isn't just a cutscene. It's actually live, and we can fly through the world. Hopefully, we can get that up in a moment. Some of the rendering that you saw there was truly incredible. So there were really amazing reflections in the water, lighting effects, tessellation were being used for the smoke effects. And starting with the L release in the fall, you're going to see new high-end tablets and phones shipping on Android with this level of graphics capability. So quite literally, this is PC gaming graphics in your pocket. The last performance enhancement I want to take you through is on battery. And we've worked hard to make sure that the battery keeps up with the performance. And of course, there are a variety of systems and components that tax the battery on a modern phone or tablet. So Wi-Fi radios, cell radios, GPS, CPU, et cetera. And you might remember we've had some previous efforts to improve quality on other releases. So Project Butter for UI smoothness in Jelly Bean, Project Svelte for memory, footprint, and KitKat. Well, in the same team, and brought to you by those same project naming geniuses, we have Project Volta. And the goal of Project Volta is to optimize how the expensive subsystems of the device are used and to improve overall battery life. So the first thing we did was improve our instrumentation of battery data. You can't improve unless you can measure. So we created a tool that we call Battery Historian, and it helps you visualize on a time axis the battery usage information. Now you can correlate battery discharge with what was happening to the device at the time. So here's an example of Battery Historian from a real device. And on the top graph, you can see an issue where the radio is waking up approximately every 20 seconds. But Battery Historian helps us quickly identify the issue so we could fix it and therefore improve battery life. In fact, we're using this tool to make the system in Google Apps more efficient, and we can expect a significant battery improvement in L. We've also added a new job scheduler API to help you optimize power consumption in your apps. So using the job scheduler API, you can make your application more efficient by allowing the platform to coalesce non-urgent network requests from multiple apps. As a result, the platform can keep the radio asleep a higher percentage of the time, thus saving significant power. So you can use the Job Scheduler API from your app to schedule maintenance tasks while the phone is connected to the charger, for example. Or also even just to download application updates. I'm sure you've all had that experience where you're out and about, your battery's about 4%, and then applications start updating themselves. It's like, no! And then finally, we've added a new battery saver mode in L. So battery saver allows you to clock down CPU, the refresh rate, even turn off background data to conserve battery. And you can trigger it manually or configure it to come on automatically when the battery level is low. So battery saver is really great if you're about to embark on a long hike or maybe a long protest, and you say you want the battery to last even longer. So on a Nexus 5 running in battery saver mode, you can extend your battery life by up to 90 minutes of usage within a typical single day's use. So I just gave you a quick whirlwind tour of some of the highlights of L. how we're improving the user experience through steps like improved design, smarter notifications, and intuitive authentication. And also the enhancements on the performance side, so faster runtime, better graphics, and stronger battery performance. But I only scratched the surface of L. And as I mentioned at the start, this is our biggest release to date. You're going to find things like better multitasking, Bluetooth 4.1, burst mode camera APIs, USB audio support, and much, much more. Tomorrow morning, we're going to be making the L Developer Preview SDK available from developer.android.com, and also posting early system images for the Nexus 5 and Nexus 7, so you can start developing for L today. So with that, let me hand back to Sundar. Thank you.
Thank you, Dave. As Dave said, the L release with 5,000 new APIs is one of our most comprehensive, and we are very excited we are sharing it today. We have a whole new design with L, tons of UX features, and a whole slew of performance improvements. When you take a step back and you look at what we are doing with Android, the approach we are taking is very unique and distinctive. We aren't building a vertically integrated product. What we are doing is building an open platform at scale. We work with hundreds of partners globally to bring a product and a platform that touches billions of people. And we want to do it in a way in which we are innovating at a very, very fast pace. If you take a look at the innovation that's happening in Android, and if you look at some of the recent announcements from others, you can see that things like custom keyboards, widgets, those things happened in Android 4 to 5 years ago. We are working very, very hard to bring an open platform and innovate on it at an unprecedented scale. We want to make sure we ship these features to users as fast as possible. That's where Google Play Services come in. Google Play Services ships every 6 weeks. And 93% of our users are on the latest version of Google Play Services across all versions of Android. In fact, by shipping every 6 weeks, we in many ways can iterate faster than typical OS release cycles. While it's an open platform and we want to innovate fast, we want to make sure it's very, very secure as well. So we take security very seriously. Let's take an example at malware protection. In Google Play, we automatically scan every single application for malware. And if users opt in, we even scan applications from outside of Google Play to make sure they are malware-free. Given the popularity of Android, there's a whole vested industry, given there's a lot at stake around security. But based on every data we see, well less than 0.5% of users ever run into any malware issues. And increasingly, we are pushing security updates through Google Play. So any security updates related to Google Server communications, we are now pushing those updates through Google Play Services so that we can get them to users within 6 weeks. With L, we are also launching factory reset protection so that if your phone gets stolen, users have full control to disable their phones. Finally, privacy is an important part of security. So with L release, for the first time, we have a centralized setting, what we call
Ici, en ce moment même, on a le directeur qui nous montre la nouvelle sécurité que va imposer Google dans Google Play, parce qu'il y avait beaucoup de malware, de virus qui se mettaient dans les applications Google, donc c'était un problème important. Et là, ils vont régler ce problème avec des patchs de sécurité mis à jour. Voilà. Donc. Dans le contexte que nous vivons, nous pouvons voir que la sécurité est le plus important. Nous avons donc mis en place un système de sécurité très important avec des ingénieurs. Ici, on a un écho à la montre de Google qui va être un objet qui va permettre de faire beaucoup de choses. Donc là, peut-être une présentation d'une watch Google.
On how we evolve our platforms to support these new connected experiences. So here are a few principles. we are making everything contextually aware. We want to understand whether you're home with your kids and you want to be entertained, or you're at work trying to be productive, or maybe you're traveling. We want to bring the right information to you at the right time. We want the experience to be voice-enabled. We are building the most advanced voice recognition infrastructure in the world. Devices. And we want to help
Donc là, peut-être une présentation d'une watch
We started
Google.
laying some foundational principles on how we evolve our platforms to support these new connected experiences. So we want the experience. So here are a few principles. It shouldn't matter which device you were using everything content. We want to pick up where you left off. And finally, users always have their smartphone. So we want to make sure all these connected experiences work based on your smartphone, be it your wearables, be it your car, or like we have shown with Chromecast, be your television. So both with L release and Chrome, we are bringing a whole set of new experiences to many connected screens around you. The first area we are going to talk to you about is wearables. About 3 months ago, we launched our preview of Android Wear. We announced a developer SDK, and the reception has been very, very positive. To give you a further update, I'm going to invite David Singleton onto the stage.
We're right at the beginning in a new phase in the miniaturization of technology, which means that it's finally possible to make a powerful computer small enough to wear comfortably on your body all day long. And there's a huge opportunity to bring rich user experiences to these devices. And that's why we're building Android Wear as our platform for wearables based
Donc là ici, Android Wear, on peut voir que ça va être une plateforme pour les montres Android. Donc ça va être vraiment une porte ouverte aux toutes nouvelles montres que les développeurs pourront créer sur Android, donc Google.
People will be wearing these small, powerful devices, so style is important. And that's why Android Wear supports both square and circular screens. And we think that there will be a wide variety of fashionable designs. Sensors will help them understand your context so they can provide useful information when you need it and help you reach your fitness goals. And as the device that you always have with you, your watch will also provide intelligent answers to spoken questions, and as Dave showed us earlier, act as your key in a multi-screen world. Across the world, people check their Android phones an average of 125 times every day. And that's why we've designed Android Wear to quickly show you relevant information and make sure you never miss an important message while letting you stay engaged with the people that you're actually with. We do this by working to understand the context of what you care about while enabling very brief interactions with the device. Here's a live demo on the LG G Watch. You can see that it has an always-on display that at any given time shows you the most important thing we know for you. So Jeff, it looks like your flight to Brazil for the World Cup is on time. I guess you do deserve a break after this big demo. And if Jeff wanted to see more, he can simply raise his watch or tap the screen to switch into vibrant full color that you're already seeing here.
Android, la toute nouvelle qui va sortir bientôt, le système des prochaines montres Android.
And show him what's up at a glance, so he won't miss an important message like this one. Swiping up and down navigates you through this stream of cards, which includes information from Google Now, apps running on Jeff's phone, and apps running directly on the wearable itself. And when there's a page indicator, Jeff can swipe horizontally to see more details. You can see that we've applied material design here. The cards float above beautiful textured backgrounds. And just like in your phone's notification shade, you can swipe a card away to remove it from your stream. Let's take a look at Jeff's phone. And that notification has disappeared. Back at the watch face, pressing and holding lets you choose a different one. You can see that there's a broad selection of analog and digital designs in a variety of styles to suit your tastes. Okay, now that we're acquainted with the overall UI model, let's see how Android Wear can work for you. Imagine that Jeff has just got up in the morning. He swipes up and sees the weather forecast for the day. His commute's not looking too bad. And, oh, look, Jeff, I guess you need that package for your trip to Brazil. You better not forget to pick it up.
OK, Google. Remind me to check my mailbox when I get home.
Now, if we can see Jeff's phone at the same time, you'll see that this is immediately synced across. And in this case, his watch was smart enough to know where home is. A little later on, as Jeff is arriving at the office, his watch vibrates again with a chat message from one of the team. He can see who it's from and what he's saying, all without having to fumble around and get out his phone. Your watch and your phone stay in sync. When you swipe away a notification on the watch, it disappears from the phone, as Jeff is showing now. It's super convenient. And apps will stay in sync too. While Jeff is making his lunch, he finds it really hard to get the last peanut butter out of the jar. And he comes up with an idea, possibly a very brilliant one, that he wants to remember.
Take a note, double-sided peanut butter jar.
Now watch his phone. We'll try that one more time.
Take a note, double-sided peanut butter jar.
I guess the universe doesn't want there to be a double-sided peanut butter jar after all. So moving along, that note would have been saved immediately to his phone, and he can get on with his lunch. In the evening, Jeff is having dinner with a friend at a restaurant. If he's unfamiliar with one of the ingredients on the menu, he can just say, or swipe up to choose from one of these quick SMS replies. His phone sends the SMS, and he's done. Sometimes you're enjoying dinner so much that you want to avoid any more interruptions. And for that, you can set Do Not Disturb with a single downward swipe from the top of the screen. And now Jeff's watch won't buzz again until he wants it to. Later that night, Jeff arrives home. Oh, that's right, your package is here. Now that he's at home, the reminder that Jeff created this morning has triggered. You can also use Android wearables to control other devices around you. Let's listen up with a bit of music.
Play some music.
Now you'll see that Jeff has music controls on his watch. He can see what song is playing, he can pause the music or skip to the next track. And while it's playing, the album art is beautifully displayed right there on his wrist. Finally, at the end of the day, it's time for bed.
Set an alarm for 7 a.m.
With glanceable notifications and quick voice actions, Android Wear gives you what you need right when you need it. Let's take a closer look at some of the contextual information that Android Wear provides when you're traveling. So Jeff's about to leave on that big trip to the World Cup. It's the morning of his flight, so his phone is already displaying relevant information for his trip. He can see his flight status and even show his boarding pass. His hotel address will be there when he needs it, and he knows whether or not he'll need to pack an umbrella. It does look like it's going to rain in Brazil on Friday. And once he's in Brazil, Android Wear continues to give him useful, timely information at a glance, whether it's his restaurant reservation, the time back at home so he knows when to call his family, or the local bus schedule. And while he's walking around the city, Jeff can see how many steps he's taken today, along with a step count history for the week. On devices that support it, he can even check his heart rate after a jog. So we've shown you what Android Wear can do out of the box. We're even more excited to see what developers build on top of this platform. The Android Wear SDK enables you to build glanceable, contextual apps for this new category of device. Let's talk through the capabilities it gives to developers, and then we'll show some examples. Right off the bat, Android Wear automatically bridges notifications from your Android phone or tablet directly to your watch. Now, Android's notification APIs already allow you to build beautiful user interfaces with big pictures, actions, and more. And there are hundreds of thousands of apps delivering billions of these notifications every day, and now they're available on your wrist. Back in March, we released a developer preview, enabling apps running to notify him that he's near one of Susie's pinned restaurants. The notification will appear on his wrist just like this, and it uses pages, allowing him to quickly glance at the details, then swipe to see a map. And if he likes it, he can start navigation right from his wrist. This is using Google Maps for mobile, which gives you turn-by-turn directions on your watch. It's particularly useful when you're walking, and it works with all Android Wear devices. In addition to what's possible with notifications bridged from the phone, today we're making a full Android Wear SDK available, which enables you to write code It's pretty great. It enables you to write code that runs directly on the wearable itself. And almost all the APIs that you're already familiar with on Android are available here. That means that you can present fully customized UI, read sensors directly, and much, much more. We're also introducing a new set of APIs in Google Play Services, and the pizza's on its way. I think that clocked in under 20 seconds. Now, you might be wondering how this app got to my watch. Well, all I had to do was install the Eat24 app from the Play Store on my phone. When a watch is connected, the wearable portion of the app is automatically installed and kept up to date on that watch. I mentioned the new wearable APIs for easy communication between phone and watch. All the Cooks is a social recipes app, which has made really great use of these APIs. I don't know if it's safe to wear your watch while cooking. It's great to know that all the devices we're talking about today are water resistant. And with all the Cooks, whenever a recipe calls for a timer, like this 4 hours in the oven, I can do that right away on my wrist. So no more burnt dinner. We saw some great examples of voice actions earlier today, and we believe voice actions will be most useful when they can invoke the best service in any app. We're just getting started with this. But we're making voice available for some today on the Play Store. In addition, you might have caught a glimpse of a new device during the demos, we're very happy that Samsung is joining the Android Wear family with the Samsung Gear Live. And the Samsung Gear Live is also available to order later today. The Moto 360 is the first watch to adopt the round Android Wear UI, and it will be available for sale later this summer. Those are just the first 3 watches. There are many more on the way, and we're thrilled to enable developers across the world to build apps for what we believe will be a revolutionary new form factor. And now I'd like to invite Patrick Brady on stage to tell you about how we're bringing Android to the car.
Thank you, David. Thank you. Isn't that great? Android Wear creates a seamless experience by connecting your Android smartphone to a wearable device. And the result is truly amazing. Wouldn't it be great if all of your devices were this connected? For many of us, cars are an integral and essential part of life. They bring us to the grocery store and take us on weekend trips. They bring us to work and take us home. In fact, in the United States, the average commuter spends over 1 hour in the car every day. In many ways, our cars keep us connected to the physical world around us, but they remain disconnected from our other devices and our digital lives. So what have drivers done to bridge this divide? Well, even though it's unsafe and in many cases illegal, people use their phones while driving. And reports show that 25% of accidents in the US are caused by people fumbling with gadgets behind the wheel. There's got to be a better way. So back in January, we announced the Open Automotive Alliance to address this problem and make the connected car a reality. We'd like to show you what we've all been working on. And today, we're happy to announce Android Auto. We've redesigned the Android platform for automotive, making it easier and safer to use the connected apps and services drivers want in the car. We looked at what people do with their phones in the car today, and these things stood out to us. Navigation, communication, music, and other forms of streaming media. Android Auto puts these front and center, so you don't have to go hunting through a grid of icons to find the apps that are most important to you when you're in the car. Android Auto is contextually aware to give you the right information right when you need it. And most importantly, Android Auto is completely voice-enabled, so that you can keep your hands on the wheel and your eyes on the road. You know, we really wanted to drive a car up here on stage and show you this live in action. But apparently there are these regulations and logistics that make driving a vehicle in a room packed with 6,000 people a very hard thing to do. So we set one of our engineers on the problem. And apparently this is what happens when engineers have access to a blowtorch. So we're down one test car, but we have a great demo cockpit to show you. And now I'm happy to introduce Andy Brenner, our product manager, who will literally drive this demo. Thanks, Andy. So to start, Andy connects his Android phone to the car. And the phone casts the Android Auto experience to the car's screen. Andy can now put his phone down and use the familiar car controls, steering wheel buttons, console dials, and touchscreens to control Android Auto. It looks and feels like it's part of the car, but all of the apps we see here are running on Andy's phone, which means that the experience gets better when Andy updates his apps or gets a newer, faster phone. This also means that Andy has a personalized experience that he can bring with him into any compatible car. the first thing Andy sees is the overview screen, which shows personal and contextually relevant destinations, reminders, contacts, and music from Google Now and other apps. One tap, and he's navigating or listening to his favorite road trip mix. Andy, why don't you play us some music? Let's look for a second at Play Music. It has been adapted to have simple, glanceable controls for the car. Andy has access to all of his curated playlists, radio stations, albums, and artists, and to all the key features in Google Play Music. He can also use voice or the steering wheel controls to control the music in the car, keeping his hands on the wheel. Fantastic. Of course, Android Auto needs great maps and navigation. So let's show you Google Maps. We all love Google Maps because it's fast, accurate, updated, and it seems to know where everything is. In Android Auto, drivers have access to all of their favorite Maps features: great local search, personalized suggestions, live traffic, and of course, turn-by-turn navigation. And Google Maps for Android Auto is even more powerful because it is completely voice-enabled. Andy, why don't you take us for a drive?
How late is the De Young Museum open today?
The Young Museum is open from 9:30 a.m. to 5:15 p.m. on Wednesday.
Oh, good, I can go there. Navigate there.
Navigating to De Young Museum.
Head to 4th Street Northeast on Main Street. In 600 feet, use any lane to turn right onto 4th Street.
So Andy was able to start navigation without ever entering an address or taking his hands off the steering wheel. During navigation, instructions are spoken, as you heard, and displayed on the screen in a material card that floats above the map. Great. So that's music and navigation. What's next? Let's show you voice-enabled messaging.
New message from Hiroshi Lockheimer. Here it is. Andy, are we there yet?
As you can see, incoming messages show up as heads-up notifications, so Andy can still see the upcoming turn in Maps. When he's ready, he can just use the steering wheel voice button to reply.
Reply.
What's the message?
I have no wheels.
Here's your message to Hiroshi Lockheimer. I have no wheels. Do you want to send it?
Sure.
Sending message.
So we're really excited to bring these great experiences into the car. But we also want you, our developers, to come along for the ride. We know it's not easy to build apps for cars today. There are dozens of different car platforms, input controls, and user interfaces. There is no central way to distribute your app or keep it updated. Wouldn't it be great if building an app for the car was just like building an app for your smartphone or tablet? Well, we have good news for you. The road ahead is brighter, and today we're announcing the Android Auto SDK, so that you we thought you'd like that. So that you can just focus on making great apps for the car. We're starting with a full set of APIs for audio and messaging applications. First, let's talk about audio. We worked with a great set of developers on a pre-release version of the Android Auto SDK to develop some great audio streaming apps that let you listen to music, internet radio, news, sports, and podcasts on the go. You can try these apps out live in our demo cars right outside. Next, let's talk about messaging apps. Andy showed us earlier how he can send text messages using Android Auto completely with his voice. Well, we're opening this up to your messaging apps. So using these APIs, your apps can notify users of incoming messages and allow them to respond using voice. And this is the same API we're using for notifications and remote reply on Android Wear. With just a few lines of code, you can let users know on their wrist or in their car. It's really, really powerful. So we're really excited about Android Auto, and we think we've found that better way. But I know what you're all thinking. When does the rubber actually meet the road? Well, we're happy to say that you won't have to wait long. The Android Auto SDK will be published soon, and the Android Auto experience will be available to users with the public L release later this year. And the excitement in the auto industry has really been growing. Today, we're happy to announce that over 40 new partners have joined the Open Automotive Alliance. And over 25 car brands have signed up to ship Android Auto in the near future. What's more, the first cars with Android Auto will be rolling off dealer lots before the end of this year. So that's just a peek at Android Auto, an Android experience that's been redesigned for the car with all of the apps drivers know and love through an interface that's built for driving. Now I'd like to welcome Dave Burke back on stage to tell us about Android in the living room.
Thanks, Patrick. It's pretty cool to see what you guys are doing at Autos, but some of us don't actually have a car in our living room, wheels or not. So I'm going to talk about a different form factor, and that's TV. So TVs are fast becoming smarter and more connected, and really they're becoming computing devices in their own right. So we see a great opportunity to bring some of the strong capabilities of Android, such as voice input, user experience, and content to the largest screen in your house. Now, in some ways, TV space is not too dissimilar to the mobile space in 2006. Each TV manufacturer has a different OS with different APIs and programming model, often with limited developer tools. And the cost and friction to develop a service to run across multiple TVs is too expensive. As a result, smart TVs are typically limited and not competitive with their mobile cousins. So we wanted to go and change that. Today, we're announcing Android TV. So this isn't a new platform. That's kind of the point. We're simply giving TV the same level of attention as phones and tablets have traditionally enjoyed. We want you to be able to leverage your existing skills and investment in Android and extend them to TV. There's now one Android SDK for all form factors. Now, remotes are a core part of the TV experience, and Android TV requires just a D-pad with voice input. And that can be made available as a hardware remote control, as a game controller, or even a virtual controller on a phone or tablet. So today, I'm going to use the Android TV app on my phone. And the best way to understand Android TV is to just see it in action. So what you're about to see is hot off the press and really just an early look at the TV support that we're adding to the L developer preview. OK, so let's start with the most integral part of television, live TV. So in L, we've added what we call the TV input framework to Android. So it enables Android-based TVs to handle video from sources such as HDMI, TV tuners, and IPTV receivers. And the UI provides a unified view of your channels in a familiar channel hopping UI with the channel information on the top. Now, if you want to do something different, just like every other Android device, you press Home. And you'll notice that Home overlays on top of the content, so I can keep watching while I browse. But unlike phones and tablets, where the behavior is more task-based, we designed Home to be a super simple lean-back experience. Because TVs, unlike computers or mobile devices, they're primarily entertainment interfaces. Users don't, which is a really great game, and play a multiplayer game with my friend Alan here on the sofa. So let's try it out. So he's playing on his tablet. I've got my game controller. Let's try this. So we have a bet on the first person to score is me. OK, first one to 2. OK, let's go. So the first person to do has to buy the other person beer tonight. Let's go. Oh, hopefully I can actually score. I'm from Ireland, so I don't really understand this game. Let's try this. Okay, what all? Did you get 2? Okay, last one. Bear with us. I want free beer tonight. Oh, yeah! All right. It's a good thing there's a free bar at the after party, Alan. Okay, I hope. Okay, so that's games. Now, sometimes you just want to cast or send content from your movie, such as movies or music from your phone. So Android TV includes full Google Cast support, so you can use it just like a Chromecast. In fact, Android TV enables us to bring Google Cast to more TVs. So for example, imagine Alan's visiting my house and he wants to share his new favorite jam with me. He can just fire up play music on his phone or tablet and cast it directly to my TV. And hopefully his music will appear. I'm always really nervous about what he's actually going to play. So I'm not sure I even want to see this. OK, that's pretty innocuous. That's cool. All right. Works great. So that's Cast. Now, to distribute your applications, televisions, to set-top boxes, to streaming boxes and gaming consoles. We're working with silicon vendors across the industry, including everyone from Marvell to Intel and more. Today, I'm super excited to announce that the entire We're also seeing activity in the pay TV space with Bouygues, SFR, and LGU Plus adopting Android TV. And we'll also be seeing streaming boxes powered by Razer, Asus, and others launching this fall. And the Unreal Engine demo that I showed you earlier, that was running on Android TV with NVIDIA's TK1 reference design capable of console-style gaming. And we expect to see TV products based on that hardware in the fall, too. Finally, to bootstrap the ecosystem today, we're making a development kit we call ADT1 available through a sign-up page to application developers like yourselves so you can start developing for TV today. In fact, all the demos you saw were running on ADT1. So to learn more about Android TV, you can visit developer.android.com/TV. And I mentioned earlier that Google Cast is a core part of the Android TV experience. And as Cast gets better, so does Android TV. So to learn more about some of the exciting new developments in Google Cast and Chromecast, let me hand over to Rishi. Thank you.
Thanks, Dave. So I'm going to give an update about Chromecast. We launched Chromecast last July to deliver a new TV experience that was both simple and powerful by using devices you already know and love, your phone, your tablet, and your laptop. And for the first time, you had an experience that just worked. All it took was a simple press of a button from your favorite app. Now, we've been really happy about the positive reaction we've gotten from both press and consumers. We've sold millions of devices and consistently outsell all other streaming devices combined in major retail channels like Best Buy. And recently, we've been able to replicate that success in 18 countries. Today, Chromecast is a top-selling electronics device on Amazon in the US, UK, France, Japan, and Canada. Thank you. And as sales have ramped up, usage per device has increased 40%. Already, YouTube sees more active engagement on Chromecast than any other TV streaming product. The model is working. Now, Chromecast is just the beginning. We want to build an ecosystem of Google Cast-ready apps and Google Cast-ready devices. So that's why we're excited that Google Cast support's coming to Android TV devices as devices roll out later this year. So let's talk a little bit about developers. We launched Chromecast with 5 content apps. And since then, we've brought on board many of the top content apps from around the world, including the BBC iPlayer and the Watch ESPN app, which came just in time for the World Cup to kill all productivity of the Chromecast team. Luckily, we have a Brazilian VP. Google Cast is designed to work with the most popular devices you find in a home today. In fact, in the last 30 days, almost 50% of Chromecasts were used by devices from multiple platforms. That's why in February, we launched the Google Cast SDK across Android, iOS, and Chrome. So now any developer can take their existing mobile or web app and extend it right to the TV. In just a few months, we have over 6,000 developers registered who are actively building over 10,000 Google Cast apps. So we're starting to see a lot of momentum. Now, as more and more apps are coming on board and integrating with the SDK, we want to make it even easier for consumers to find your Google Cast-ready app. So today, we're announcing new discovery experiences on Android, iOS, and Chrome. Consumers can find these at chromecast.com/apps or from the Chromecast app on your phone, tablet, or laptop. This is one of many improvements we're making to Google Cast to make it even easier to use. For example, one of my favorite features of Chromecast is that it works with my friends and family because they can use their own devices. Well, today we're announcing a new feature to make that even easier by allowing others to cast to your TV without needing to be on the same Wi-Fi network. So I have AK here on stage with me, and let's say AK is over at my house, and he wants to use his phone to share or cast one of his favorite YouTube videos to my TV. Now, normally I need to share my Wi-Fi password with him, but sometimes they're long and complicated, or I don't remember it. In this case, I just don't trust him with the password. But I still wanted to see his great video. Well, with this new feature, AK can still take out his phone and open up the YouTube app. And you'll see in the top right, he is only connected to the cellular network, but you still see the cast button. Simply press the button, and we'll allow him to connect to nearby devices. Now, in a few seconds, his phone will connect to Chromecast through the cloud. And that's it. So now he can control the video, pause the video, play the video, just as if he was on my same Wi-Fi network. So how do we do it? We're using a variety of different technologies, which allows us to authenticate users in the same room as the Chromecast. And if for whatever reason we can't automatically detect or authenticate for you, we'll ask for a PIN that will always be present on the screen. Oh, check this part out. This is my favorite part of the video. It's pretty cool. So now you can invite all your friends over to your house, kick back, and let them cast to your TV without any friction or hassle. It makes Chromecast an even more social experience. Now, this is an opt-in feature, so you always have control over who can cast to your TV. We'll be rolling this out to all Android users later this year, and developers will get this for free via the Google Cast SDK. So we also spent a lot of time thinking about new use cases for the television. For example, today, lots of people talk about the 5 hours per day people watch TV. What about the 19 hours per day your TV is just a blank, empty screen? With Chromecast, we want to make use of this large, beautiful canvas. So we started with something really simple, a feed of scenic images that's been gradually expanding over time. Today, we're announcing the new Google Cast ambient experience, and we call it Backdrop. It just takes a minute to set up, and you can do it from any iOS or Android device. In this case, we're going to use an iPhone 5 for the demo, and we have the feed accelerated just for the demo purposes, so you can see more images. So let's go ahead and open up the Chromecast app, and you'll see Backdrop's a new option in the app drawer. And from here, you can personalize the feed to match your own interests and tastes. One of the top feature requests we've gotten is the ability to add your own personal photos to the ambient feed. Well, now you can. Simply turn on Photos. You can select from one or multiple Google+ photo albums. And in a few seconds, you'll start seeing my personal photos show up right on the TV screen. It's that simple. Your TV is now the largest picture frame in the house. Grandparents everywhere are going to love this feature. So we also have a lot more topics. We want to give you an infinite source of great and beautiful images. One of my favorites is one called Places, which brings geospatial images from Google Maps to your TV. These satellite photos give you a totally different perspective on how you can see the world. It's really amazing. You leave it on for a really long time. We also have other topics like news and lifestyle and Google+ featured photos. One of my other favorite topics is art, which includes artwork from famous museums and collections from around the world, including the Getty Museum, the National Museum of Women in the Arts. And now, my TV's a beautiful set of paintings. Every topic is curated to make sure we're showing high quality and safe images. And every user has the ability to control which topics show up on the TV. Now, generally, I'm going to leave this in the background of my house. But let's say one of the images catches my eye, and I want to learn a little bit more info about it. I can use Google Voice Search to always learn more.
What's on my Chromecast?
For every topic, we'll show a synchronized card. We'll show a synchronized card that'll show you relevant information and relevant actions. So in this case, I can learn more about any artist of the painting. Backdrop brings your TV to life even when you're not actively using it. And we're looking forward to working with third-party developers to actually bring in their own topics into the feed. Backdrop will roll out to all Chromecast users later this summer. So finally, one of the big advantages of the Google Cast model is that we can start thinking beyond traditional use cases of the TV, like video. For example, your phone and your tablet have unlimited possibilities, and there's many times we want to bring those experiences and extend them to the TV. Well, to help accelerate that shift, we're launching a new Google Cast feature that allows you to mirror any Android device to your television. So to start mirroring, just go to your Chromecast app on your Android device and select Cast Screen. And from here, everything on your phone will just show up on the TV. It's that simple. No cables or wires needed. Now, we built our own protocol to reduce latency and frame drops, so the experience feels really natural and smooth. And now you can share anything on the big screen. So let me give one example, a real-life example I had a few months ago, using Google Earth. I was planning a family trip to Maui later in the year, and I want to show my 4-year-old daughter where Maui is on the map. So instead of huddling on my small phone, I ended up opening up Google Earth and projecting it right to the TV. So let's type in Molokini, one of my favorite snorkeling destinations in Maui. And as you can see, it's a totally different experience to navigate the world with my daughter on the biggest screen in the house. You can play with this for hours. So we're going to do one more fun thing. We're actually going to open up the camera app, and we're actually going to mirror in live action, which is a little nervous, in live action, all of you on the big screen. It's a lot of fun. So we're working with a large variety of devices, from Samsung, from Nexus, HTC, and LG, with many more devices coming soon. We'll be rolling out this initially in beta as devices get updated to the latest version of Google Play services, which will happen over the next few weeks. As you can see, we're really excited about how to show how the CAST model can change how we think about entertainment in the home. And we look forward to innovating all of you to make that a reality. Now I'll pass it back to Sundar.
Thanks, Rishi. So we have talked so far about wearables, your car, and the television in your living room. Another important device in our lives is our laptop. Our journey here began with Chromebooks. We are seeing tremendous momentum here. We started the journey with one reference device, the CR48, which we launched about 3 years ago. A year later, with Samsung and Asus, we launched 2 devices in 2 countries. Fast forward to today, we have 8 OEMs making 15 devices, with many more on the way in 28 countries. Users really love the fundamental insight behind Chromebooks: speed, simplicity, and security. All 10 of the top 10 highest rated laptops today in Amazon are all Chromebooks. We are seeing tremendous traction in education as well. Just this year alone, the number of Chromebooks sold to K-12 schools in the United States has grown by 6x. And we are investing a lot more in this area. So let me talk about how we are evolving the Chromebook experience. As I said earlier, users almost always have a smartphone with them, including when they are using a Chromebook. So we want to increasingly connect these experiences together so that they have a seamless experience across their devices. Let's take a look at what we can do. Dave Can is going to help me through with some demos. Dave talked earlier about how with the L release, you can unlock your phone knowing that it is with you based on what we are doing with APIs in L. Well, if you can unlock your phone, we can also unlock your Chromebook. So every time you approach your Chromebook and your phone is with you, we will automatically unlock your Chromebook and sign you into your favorite applications and services. So it works seamlessly. We have already added Google Now notifications. So the same Google Now cards which you see on your phone, you see them on your Chromebook. And we are adding a few more things. Let's say you get an incoming phone call. You will start seeing those incoming call notifications on your Chromebook. If you get a text message, you would see those text messages on your Chromebook as well. And I recently had this experience. My phone was in my pocket and running out of battery, and my Chromebook popped up a notification and said, your phone is running out of your battery. Simple, delightful experiences to connect your phone and your Chromebook. As we started working on this, one of the things that struck us is, wouldn't it be nice if you could get some of your favorite Android applications, which you love on your phone, on your Chromebook? So this is a difficult challenge technically. So we've been working on this project for a while. Our goal is to bring your favorite Android applications in a thoughtful manner to Chromebooks. We want this to be intuitive for users. These applications were built for Android, for the phone, so we want them to work when there is a mouse, keyboard, and touch events, etc. For developers, we want this to work with as little modifications as possible. So we are in early days, and we're going to show you a preview today, and Can is going to help me with it. So Can is going to pull his tablet up, and what you're seeing on his tablet is Evernote. This is one of his favorite applications, and I think he's planning a birthday party there. Let's switch over to the Chromebook, and the same Android application is now available in the launcher on your Chromebook. So you can click that, and you get the exact same application. And because you're on a Chromebook, you can start making changes to it. You can go to the web, copy, paste. Everything just works. We have ported that Android application to run within your Chromebook. Let's give you one more example. We'll pull a canonical application, an application you see on your phone, like Wine. We now have that application running on your Chromebook Pixel as well. Ken is going to browse through the World Cup channel, and you can see how the experience feels native and intuitive on a Chromebook. And because the app has access to some of the underlying device APIs, it has access to the camera API, Ken can actually take a clip of himself, just like a Wine user, and post it straight from his Chromebook. The final application we want to show to you is Flipboard. It's a beautiful immersive experience, and the Android version of the app now comes alive on Chromebooks, and you can see how beautiful and immersive this experience is. We are very, very excited about bringing important favorite Android applications for users straight on their Chromebooks so that they can get an even more connected experience. And we are working on bringing our experiences across both Android and Chrome together so that it works in a delightful way for our users. So far, we have talked about bringing our platforms, Android and Chrome, to all the connected devices in your life so that we can create a great experience across all of them. But there is another important environment we want to talk to you about it as well. Most of you spend a lot of time in your workplace. We've always had this funny insight inside at Google. Names you would recognize works seamlessly. You can always upconvert this
Donc là, ici,
to Google
on repart en
Docs
direct
so that you get
live.
advantage of world-class collaboration features. One of the common features we get requests on is redlining. So we have done great work to bring modern collaborative approach to redlining.
Là, ici, on voit les mises à jour de Google Docs avec la possibilité de faire des modifications en temps réel pour sa communauté.
And very easily, you can review and accept changes. So with suggested edits, we have modern collaborative features, and with built-in native Office, we think our productivity suite is great for the workplace.
Donc n'hésitez pas à vous abonner à ma chaîne YouTube pour encore d'autres lives la prochaine fois. Donc là, on va arriver à la fin du live. Voilà, c'est un live vraiment centré sur les développeurs. Donc, voilà. Ici, on voit que Google Drive a été utilisé par 190 millions de personnes. Donc, c'est vraiment quand même beaucoup. Et il y a 30 Day Active Users. Donc, à peu près 30 jours il y a à peu près 30 jours dans l'année où les utilisateurs de Google Drive sont connectés. Donc, c'est vraiment énorme. Et Google a bien fait son travail pour une fois.
Both during transit and at rest on our service. We are providing enterprises full APIs, audit and analytics
Ici, on voit qu'on a un écho avec Drive pour le travail, donc Drive for Work. Ici, avec de l'encryption Transits. Et on voit des nouvelles choses qui sont... Donc, pour $10, on a de l'illimité. Donc ça, c'est vraiment une nouveauté. Pour $10 par mois, on a Unlimited sur Drive. C'est énorme. On a une nouveauté là, de ce côté-là, c'est que sur Google Drive, pour seulement $10, donc à peu près 9 €, 8 €, on a de l'illimité. On va pouvoir uploader n'importe quelle photo, pour seulement $10 par mois. Donc c'est vraiment bien. Donc là, on voit qu'il y a 67 des plus grandes startups qui utilisent Google. 58% des plus grandes fortunes utilisent Google et 72 universités utilisent Google. Des plus grandes, hein, bien sûr.
So we have talked about how we are bringing our platforms Android and Chrome across all your devices.
Donc pour ceux qui posent la question, en ce moment on est sur la keynote de Google. C'est la keynote de Google.
In fact, we hear amazing stories every day, from corporate startups to students who act as developers and create amazing experiences on top of our platforms. We put together a video so that you can take a look.
Ici, on a une démonstration de Google. C'est parti.
Jack Threads is an e-commerce destination for men's fashion. I think everyone here is unique in so many ways. We have such a crazy hodgepodge of people here.
We understand so much about our guys' needs. the demand that they have for truly personalized communication. Almost 70% of the interactions.
Donc là, on a une startup qui utilise Google au quotidien pour tout ce qui est transactions, images, stockage. Ils utilisent totalement Google. Donc voilà.
We want to feel like the smallest big company in the world.
There's 1.2 billion people in the world learning a foreign language. The majority of these people are learning to get a job, and they are of low socioeconomic conditions. My views on education have always been influenced by where I come from, which is Guatemala. So Guatemala is a very poor country. I wanted to come up with a way to teach languages that was entirely free. Today, Duolingo is the most popular way to learn languages in the world. We have 30 million students.
Ici, on a la présentation de la startup d'apprentissage de langue Duolingo qui utilise des API de Google. Et c'est vraiment une belle innovation que Google intègre dans sa version.
Smartphones are going to allow us to bring education to the people who don't have access to it.
Ici, on voit une personne qui est aveugle, qui utilise le système de Google pour se repérer.
They have to live through darkness every day. No one can really feel it, and they take seeing for granted.
We were like, why not create something that will actually make a difference?
Hello Navi will use GPS and a location sensor, so that way you can have a specific point for each of his classes.
Where do you want to go?
The coding.
Ici, on a une application qui permet à l'enfant de se repérer de par son problème de vue.
He made a difference in it, not just to him, but to many others that will eventually use this app.
They care about me. That's why they made this app happen. I never got to hear the word inspiration in my whole entire life. It made me proud.
Ici, on a l'utilité de Google et de la possibilité d'intégrer ça à des applications.
And even more excited, all the folks in the video, including those middle school students from RESEAUX School in Texas, are joining us in the audience today. Thanks. Thank you. We know these examples are just the tip of the iceberg, and we care deeply about evolving our platform so that you can continue to create these amazing experiences. So we're going to talk about that next. The first is how you can build and scale your applications on top of Google Cloud Platform. We've been within Google building world-class
Google va permettre
large-scale services
de larges services à n'importe quel type d'entreprise, mais aussi particulier grâce à Gmail. Et donc ce directeur est vraiment époustouflé et remercie tout le monde, tous les développeurs d'avoir mis en place ça. Voilà. Donc là, je crois qu'on est arrivé à la fin de la Google I.O. Je suis pas sûr.
Hi everyone, I'm Urs Herzli and my team and I built the Google Cloud Platform. And every day we go to work excited to see what you all are doing with it. And literally every day there's hundreds of thousands of developers building applications that scale to hundreds of millions of users. And they keep their teams small and they can focus on what they do best because we run the rest of the infrastructure for them. Let's have a quick look on what the Google Cloud Platform is about. First of all, of course, we have VMs with
Donc là, ici, on est plus tourné pour les entreprises avec le cloud de Google, donc avec les API, le stockage, les applications de service. On a beaucoup de choses qui sont montrées ici dans cette vidéo où on peut comprendre comment fonctionne cette plateforme de cloud que Google a voulu intégrer. Donc Snapchat, il nous dit que c'est utilisé de cette manière-là, avec un cloud de Google, et que après c'est supprimé et qu'il y a un système de MySQL, de cloud, de recherche, histoire d'avoir le meilleur système et de pouvoir l'intégrer au mieux à sa startup, à son application, à ce qu'on crée.
Without worrying about scalability. For example, with BigQuery, you can stream hundreds of thousands of records per second into the cloud and then query them interactively with SQL. And beyond technology, we also lead the industry in price and performance. And as hardware gets cheaper, we pass on these savings to you, so you see Moore's law.
Donc là, on voit ici un petit bilan. 85 price drop on BigQuery. Enfin, c'est des termes très techniques que vous, je pense pas, même moi, j'arrive pas à comprendre. Le but, c'est pour que les développeurs comprennent comment développer des applications mieux et les adapter. Ici, on a le Cloud Platform qui est bien expliqué. Pour l'instant, ça devient un peu inintéressant parce que, bon, voilà. Bon, là, par contre, on voit les entreprises comme Airbnb, Philips, EA, Netflix, Snapchat, Wix, Philips, Costo, enfin après bon, c'est des entreprises qu'on connaît pas tellement, mais Snapchat, Philips, Netflix, Pulse et Airbnb et EA, quand même de grandes entreprises qui utilisent Google et la plateforme. Parce que c'est sécurisé, parce que c'est simple, parce que c'est rapide. Ça me fait rigoler, on voit des gens partir, ça rend mal l'histoire.
And they came to Google because they needed a platform that can handle this kind of hyperscale growth.
Et vous, vous aimez la keynote? Vous pouvez réagir, hein. Tous ceux là, vous êtes à peu près une dizaine à me regarder en ce moment. Bon, c'est pas tellement, je m'attendais pas tellement à du monde parce que je vous avais pas appelé. Bon, après il y aura des gens qui vont re-regarder. Là, vous êtes peut-être en train de m'écouter, mais c'est pas en live parce que vous re-regardez la keynote. Je tiens à vous adresser un petit message. Donc, voilà, je vais recommencer un peu plus les lives, les conférences. Bon, là, c'est un gros live quand même, c'est Google I.O. Mais ouais, je vais recommencer ces lives.
And at the beginning,
là, il y a quelqu'un qui crie dans la salle.
All right. At the beginning of each application is a developer who wants to get their idea out to the market as quickly as possible, no matter what it is. But that's why developer productivity is actually very important to us. We try to make our cloud not just highly functional, but also really easy to use. And as you've seen, the best mobile apps come with an intelligent backend that's in the cloud. And there's no better place to build that backend than on Google, because we have the performance.
Je sais pas si c'est des gardes du corps qui arrivent, mais il y a un gros souci qui se passe à la conférence Google I.O. Il y a plein de monde là qui commence à partir. Alors il y a peut-être eu un problème, ils ont peut-être présenté un truc qui aurait pas dû prévoir, peut-être un truc qui est pas cool pour eux. Je sais pas, je comprends pas vraiment ce qui se passe. C'est pour les développeurs. Les développeurs, moi j'en suis pas vraiment. Bon voilà, il y a une démo d'un pur ingénieur développeur qui va ici nous présenter quelque chose dont je ne sais pas moi. Vraiment, leur conférence est un peu merdique. C'est mal expliqué, je trouve. C'est bien présenté, mais mal expliqué. Les gens rigolent, on ne sait pas pourquoi. Et les graphismes et tout sont pas non plus... pourquoi on a deux fois le même graphisme? Tu vois, il aurait mis au milieu, tout le monde aurait vu. Bref, c'est un peu bizarre. Donc si vous avez des questions, vu que la keynote est en ce moment sur YouTube, vous pouvez les poser en bas de la vidéo. Si vous la regardez sur l'ordi, bah il y a des commentaires. Moi je les lis en même temps. Donc je peux répondre à vos questions. Si vous avez des questions par rapport à cette conférence, pour ceux qui regardent en rediff, bah je m'excuse parce que bon, je vais répondre à des questions qu'ils étaient avant, quoi. Donc là ici il explique du côté développement du Google API client qu'il y a des petites mises à jour. Bon, c'est pas non plus un truc de fou. J'essaye de comprendre ce qui se produit en même temps. J'arrive pas très bien à comprendre. Alors attendez, je vais regarder un peu. I'm a cloud guy. Je suis un mec dans les nuages. Oh, ouais. Je sais pas ce qui s'est passé avec le mec, il est arrivé et là, bam, il a viré. Je sais pas pourquoi. Bon, on verra bien après. Tac, tac, tac. Est-ce que vous voyez bien le live? Est-ce que vous avez des soucis de son ou autre? Sinon, je peux régler ça. Là, j'essaye de vous produire le meilleur live possible. Après, il va être en rediff, mais bon, ça va pas être non plus de la qualité de malade.
I have code here to replace common character sequences with emoticons. But if you look at that, they're sort of running amok. I'm putting emoticons.
Donc là, ici, il nous montre qu'avec wildshare.appspot.com, on peut faire des trucs pas mal. Avec un peu de code Google. Ah ouais, là, c'est les consoles de code Google disponibles sur leur site. Ouais, je trouve ça un peu dommage quand même. Enfin, ils ont fait des trucs, mais bon. Google, en ce moment, c'est la plus grande entreprise et ils présentent des trucs un peu tout pourris. Donc, il y a des gens qui gueulent, c'est un peu normal. Bon, si vous devez réagir, réagissez, n'hésitez pas à vous abonner à ma chaîne. Bon, ce live, c'est vrai que je l'ai mal retransmis parce que j'avais pas prévu de le retransmettre. À la dernière minute, j'ai dit, bon, il y a un live, tiens, oh, Google. Bon, bah allez, je vais vous le retransmettre. Et j'avais rien prévu du tout, donc c'est un peu pour ça qu'il est tout pourri. Même si, bon, c'est pas non. Il y en a, ils vont me dire, ouais, ça va quand même. Mais bon, moi, je préfère faire de la bonne qualité. Là, quand même, le live est en HD, mais c'est pas non plus de la qualité de malade. Donc voilà. Là, je sais pas ce qu'il présente. Je me pose des questions.
I'm determined on this one.
Là, il est sur la console Google. Il fait des petites présentations.
Code, go into debug, set the watch point. Nope. Oh, there it went. I just had to wait long enough. There it went.
Je sais pas, ils applaudissent tous parce que le mec a mis une ligne. Alors, t'as mis un point sur la ligne? Bon, je te mets pas. Comment. Je comprends rien à ce qu'il fait là. Command.command-name égale Rachel. Je m'appelle Rachel. Et là, t'attends une heure juste. Et là, voilà, oh tiens, il y a un bug. Et là, il t'explique pourquoi en fait. Non, je sais pas, je comprends rien de rien. Là, on est sur un côté développement dont les développeurs rigolent parce qu'ils disent putain, c'est trop simple. Mais moi, je comprends rien. Bon, si vous avez des questions, n'hésitez pas parce qu'il y a personne qui me pose une question. Là, on n'est que 4, donc il n'y a que 4 personnes qui regardent le live. C'est pas intéressant du tout en même temps, vu ce live de merde. Bon, je vais fermer un peu ma bouche et je vais vous laisser écouter le live. Allez, peut-être que vous comprendrez mieux que moi. Ça se fait pas sinon. Bon, si vous avez des questions, n'hésitez pas parce que...
I'm going to drill into one of them, and I get a view of all the service calls that went into that test. So what it appears to be happening here is that I'm doing a bunch of data store operations in sequence instead of doing them in parallel, and that's not really the best practice for data store. So to fix that, I'll switch over to the code for that. I'll edit it. Sure enough, this whole block of code is in a for loop. That's not really the best practice for getting the best performance out of data store. So we will delete all that, and I'll paste in the proper version of the code, which actually then does all of that as one operation. I can commit the change, it gets rebuilt, I'm in production, I've fixed my performance problem. Now, I fixed it for one user. How do I know I fixed it for everybody? Well, it turns out cloud tracing also gives you the ability to have reports. So this is a report that I've done that compares the latency before and after that change. The blue part is before I made the change, the orange part is after I made the change. So sure enough, I can see that my curve shifted to the left. My application is in fact faster, not just for one user, but for every user. So the last thing I want to show you is cloud monitoring. Last month, the team from Stackdriver joined Google, and I'm really happy to show you some of the integration we've been working on. One of the hard parts about operating a service in production is building out the monitoring and alerting that you need in order to stay on top of things. With cloud monitoring, you of course get the basic infrastructure type monitoring you'd expect. Disks, VMs, that sort of thing. But what's really powerful is you also get service level monitoring. we automatically detect what services you're using and give you default dashboards and monitoring. And it's not just for Google services.
Donc là, ici, nous présente une plateforme de cloud monitoring qui va vous permettre de piloter vos productions.
So with no additional work, I get a dashboard that helps me stay on top of what's happening in my app in production. Finally, as everybody who runs a service knows, the last thing you want is your customers to be the first ones to find out that you've got a problem. You want to have alerting in the event of problems. Cloud monitoring includes alerting. So I can go and set custom alerts on any of a variety of metrics, whether it's on App Engine or Compute Engine or Redis. In this case, I have an alert set up to tell me if Redis exceeds its memory threshold for more than 5 minutes, and I have a choice of how I want to be notified. Do I want to be emailed or paged or sent a text message? So that's just a very fast preview of 4 new developer productivity features coming to the cloud platform. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Urs.
Thank you, Greg. So you just saw 4 new features that make it much easier to build and understand your backend. Cloud saves securely, saves and synchronizes across devices, no server-side code, just a few lines of client code. Cloud Debugger gets you desktop debugging in your server app. Debug a live production app with live traffic, get local stack traces, and so on and so on. How cool is that? Cloud Tracing then shows you your latency statistics across different groups. You can compare before and after. And Cloud Monitoring gets you intelligent monitoring with almost no setup, including for many popular open source packages. But now let's go from code to data. Information is being generated at an incredible rate, and of course, we want you to be able to analyze that information without worrying about scalability. And today, even when you're using MapReduce, which we invented over a decade ago, it's still cumbersome to write and maintain analytics pipelines. And if you want streaming analytics, you're out of luck. And in most systems, once you have more than a few petabytes, they kind of break down. So we've done analytics at scale for a while, and we've learned a few things. For one, we don't really use MapReduce anymore. It's great for simple jobs, but it gets too cumbersome as you build pipelines, and really everything is an analytics pipeline these days. So what we needed was a new analytics system that scales to exabytes, that makes it really easy to write pipelines, that optimizes these pipelines for you, and that lets you use the same code for both batch and streaming analytics. And today we're announcing just that with Cloud Dataflow. Cloud Dataflow is the result of over a decade of experience.
Cloud Data Flow, je ne sais pas trop ce que ça veut dire et ça permet de faire quoi, mais ils annoncent Cloud.
For ingesting, transforming, and analyzing arbitrarily large data sets, both in batch and in real-time mode. And to see Dataflow in action, I've asked no other than our very own Eric Schmidt to help me look at something that's happening right now, namely the World Cup. So please welcome Eric Schmidt.
Thanks, Urs. This demo is about performing sentiment analysis of World Cup matches with Cloud Dataflow. We're going to analyze millions and millions of tweets per match and calculate negative or positive sentiment per team and correlate the sentiment to match data. I'd like to thank the
Donc là, on va pouvoir traquer par exemple des tweets, des extracts, les transformer, les analyser et les charger.
Is an SDK and a managed service for building big and fast parallelized data analysis pipelines. You write a program as a logical set of data transformations to specify your analysis. You then submit the pipeline to the Dataflow service, and it handles all the optimization, deployment of VMs, scheduling, and monitoring for you. Now here's the code for my sentiment pipeline. The Dataflow API provides a simple mechanism for you to add one-to-many transforms to your data. The first transform extracts a real-time stream
c'est un peu compliqué comment ça fonctionne ce Cloud Dataflow. Ça va être un nouveau système qui va permettre de créer une chaîne d'informations avec des codes, des lignes de code, et à la fin de calculer, de faire de la data et de calculer des informations sur des types d'applications, de software et de pouvoir les utiliser par la suite.
Tweet Transformer is responsible for the core transformation and mapping of my data. I deserialize the stream of JSON into a tweet object. I translate it if it's needed using Google Translate API. And I score the sentiment with a third-party service from Alchemy API. Now, the Pardue syntax that you see here is what parallelizes the processing for each step. This parallelization is optimized for you by the data flow service across processes and machines. Now finally, I apply another transform to calculate the average for all the tweets in the 3-minute sliding window. Dataflow provides powerful built-in primitives for doing MapReduce-like and continuous computation operations. 2 lines of code to create a sliding window and average all the tweets within that window, reducing a massive collection of data down to 1 record per minute per team. Dataflow handles all the aging out of my data, shuffling, etc. I don't have to worry about that. So awesome. We have a pipeline. Let's switch gears and take a look at what this would look like in production. What you see here is my deployed pipeline shown in the Dataflow monitoring UI, built right into the Cloud Developers Console. I'm going to go ahead and click in, and you'll notice that the graph correlates one-to-one to the code that I just showed you, making it easy for you to understand your processing topology. If I scroll down further, I can see other information. For example, the total records of processed. So I started this pipeline this morning. Right before I went on stage, we processed around 5.2 million tweets. And right now I'm running at about 406 records a second. We have lots more headroom with this pipeline, but I wanted to show you that my data is actually flowing. Now, our goal is to make data flow monitoring valuable and integrated with the rest of your cloud development cloud development experience. Now, let's take a look at what we could do with this data. This is a replay of the opening match between Brazil and Croatia. This represents an analysis of millions and millions of tweets and tens of thousands of touch information represented in the match. Now, if I scroll back and forth, I can see something interesting happen at the 71st minute. Brazil scores a goal, but you'll notice in orange, Brazil's sentiment goes down. So this is odd. Typically, the team that scores a goal will have positive sentiment. Now, if I look on the timeline, there's also some information that's been injected for me by my pipeline that says controversial call related to the goal. So this is giving me some insight as to why there may be some negative sentiment towards Brazil, but I still don't trust my algorithm. So fortunately, I've had Dataflow stream all of my raw data into BigQuery so that I can easily perform interactive analysis over very, very large data sets. Now here are some of the filtered raw data around that 71st, 72nd minute. So there you have it. The fans are upset with Brazil related to a bad call by the referee. Now, I think I understand my correlation a little bit better. I absolutely love the World Cup. So thanks, Dataflow. With Cloud Dataflow, you have a fully managed service and unified programming model for classic ETL and continuous analysis over simple or highly complex pipelines in batch or streaming mode. Back to yours.
Thank you, Eric. And I'm sure, as all of you know,
Le mec a mis le maillot de la Coupe du Monde. Bon, il a mal mis quand même, il a une tête de développeur, mais bon, c'est quand même rigolo. Et ils analysent en fait en ce moment les tweets et le nombre de tweets, le flux, les réactions, comment ils peuvent analyser, les optimiser et garder ça et après faire des data centers pour analyser les informations des utilisateurs.
Namely, it just makes it very easy. You don't have to worry about scalability. You don't have to worry about parallelism. And it will run faster and scale better than pretty much any other system out there, because we needed it to solve our own problems. So whether it's data or code on server or on a mobile device, we try to make your life easier as a developer, more productive, while giving you the best price and the best performance of any cloud. We released hundreds of new features in just the last year, and we're seeing incredible growth thanks to all of you who are using the platform. And I'm very excited to see what you can do next year with the power of Google behind you. Thank you. And now I would like to introduce Ellie to talk about Google Play. Ellie.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ellie, and I'm absolutely thrilled to be talking to you about a few things that we're doing to help you all create amazing user experiences and also grow your businesses. Now, Google Play is the key to getting your app into the hands of millions of users globally, more users than on any other platform. And Google offers app developers a wide range of cross-platform tools, and we build on this every year. Now, you just heard about the cloud platform, and now I want to talk about a few ways that Google Play is helping app developers differentiate their applications and accelerate momentum. We've been making aggressive investments across development tools, ways to distribute and engage, and new mechanisms to generate robust revenue for your business. So I'm going to talk today about a few of our efforts in each of these areas, what we're doing to help you develop, what we're doing on distribution, and what we're doing to help you monetize your apps. So let's talk first about development, building a great application. A key part of this is testing. You've told us that testing can be painful, and we want it to be easy. Today, we are completely thrilled to announce that the Purify team is joining Google. Purify offers the most sophisticated mobile device cloud testing service, and more importantly, they're just as passionate as we are about delivering high-quality user experiences. Purify is leading the way in replicating how your app behaves in the real world, and we're excited to help them further scale and bring their expertise to your app development process. Purify allows you to test your apps across a wide range of devices, and this is critical if you want to be sure that your app produces consistently amazing results on every type of device, on iOS and Android, all over the world. But ensuring quality means more than just device testing. Purify's service can simulate a specific mobile network, and it can even simulate what happens if the connection is weak or drops out completely. Purify also gives you detailed log data on device performance, network issues, power consumption, and stability. And this means your engineering team gets all the information they need to fix the problem without needing to repro on a local device. Now, developers tell us that testing is the cornerstone of creating high-quality experiences. And we want to make testing available to as many developers as possible. That's why Purify will continue to be cross-platform on both iOS and Android, and available as a freemium service. So next, let's talk about building apps that help users get the most out of wearable devices. This is a new area that we're really excited about, as you can tell. Today, we're announcing a platform preview of Google Fit. This is an open platform designed to help users. Yeah. Thank you. We want to help users keep better track of their fitness goals. So we're providing a single set of APIs to manage fitness data from apps and sensors on both cross-platform devices and on wearables. Now, before Google Fit, I was trying to track and monitor my bike rides through my bike computer, and then my weight training through a specialized app, and it was a huge hassle. The information was way too siloed to actually help me.
Chez Samsung,
Fit takes away the complexity of handling multiple sources, giving you a unified view of a user's fitness activity. And this helps you create more comprehensive apps. So if a user grants permission, apps can have access to a user's entire fitness stream to give better recommendations through this additional context.
Sa forme, en fait.
So, for example,
Noom
is a weight loss coach app, and they've been an early partner on Google Fit. So let's just take a second to point out how the platform has helped Noom to enhance their app. So you'll see that Noom is able to combine my workouts, nutritional information, and my weight. And because it can talk directly to my why things scale, it can let me know when my daily cookie habit gets just that little bit overboard. So to centralize everything, Google Fit APIs allows fitness apps and brands to share your fitness activity, but only with your explicit permission. That's the key. You're in control. You can choose who you share what with, and you can delete your fitness activity whenever you want. Google Fit APIs are also opening up new access to data.
On est déjà à peu près 2h50 de live, ça fait quand même beaucoup. J'espère que ma vidéo va pas se finir, mais bon, le live a été un peu quand même bon. Dans l'ensemble, c'était pas non plus un live de malade, parce que j'ai pas pu faire ce que je voulais. Je l'ai lancé à 5 minutes du live officiel de Google. Donc voilà, j'ai voulu vous partager ce live. Malgré tout, bon, par rapport à ce que j'ai fait, je trouve le public, je comprends qu'il n'y en ait pas tellement, mais c'est normal.
More partners in the program means you can all create more meaningful experiences for users. So we're incredibly excited about the potential here for a platform approach in this area. We want to make it so that you can build great fitness experiences with just one API. The Platform Preview SDK will be available in just a few weeks, so stay tuned. So next, let's talk about increasing distribution for your apps, growing your user base, and that's where Google Play comes in. So last year, we announced our cross-platform service, Google Play Games, and we've been delighted by the response from users and developers. Google Play Games is now the fastest growing mobile game network of all time. We have activated over 100 million new users in just the past 6 months. And Google Play Games connects your game to a concentrated network.
Donc là, on peut voir qu'en termes de chiffres, les chiffres de Google Play ils sont vraiment énormes. Parce qu'on voit, donc on a vu, j'ai vu des chiffres de malade. On voit qu'ici, on a des nouvelles plateformes, enfin des nouvelles processus comme les cadeaux Google, les multiplayers, qu'on peut sauvegarder les jeux. Enfin, il y a différentes nouveautés qu'on a sur le Google Play. Donc c'est vraiment pas mal.
So first up, we have the new game profile. In the new Play Games app, your game profile changes automatically based on the games you play and your achievements in each game.
Le Game Center qu'on retrouve chez Apple,
donc
cette histoire de Game Center avec l'histoire du profil, des derniers jeux que l'on a joués et du multiplayer. Donc là, on a un peu le même système. Google essaye de développer sur sa plateforme et on peut sauvegarder les jeux. Donc je sais pas vraiment ce que ça veut dire, mais peut-être qu'on peut sauvegarder les jeux dans le cloud, histoire de sauvegarder sa partie et de pouvoir la rejouer sur n'importe quel type de téléphone. C'est-à-dire qu'on a un nouveau téléphone, on peut avoir les sauvegardes de la partie et au moins on ne perd pas toutes ces... On n'a pas besoin de recommencer le jeu. Quest, je ne sais pas ce que ça veut dire. Vu le logo, ça veut dire le temps de jeu. Je ne sais pas trop, on verra bien. De toute manière, après, il va y avoir des articles sur le net qui expliqueront le live, qu'est-ce qui s'est produit, qu'est-ce qui s'est pas produit. Même là, en direct, vous pouvez aller voir sur Google, je pense que beaucoup d'articles sont disponibles. J'ai pu voir qu'il y avait Android Auto, qui était une sorte de CarPlay qu'Apple a fait déjà auparavant. Cela permet dans les voitures de mettre Android, donc de piloter la voiture avec des systèmes comparables à ce qu'on a sur déjà iOS. Et donc on voit que tout au long de cette keynote, Google essaye de copier Apple en sortant des choses similaires. On peut le voir avec Android au tout début, après les montres, ils essayent déjà de lancer leur montre avant Apple, histoire d'être déjà sur le terrain et voilà. Et donc là, en ce moment, on a une présentation de Google Cloud Platform et je pense que d'ici au maximum, moins d'une demi-heure, 1 heure, on va avoir la fin de cette keynote.
You'll be able to pay for apps, games, movies, music, books, and other content on your tablet, all still paid through that monthly phone bill. It'll even work on tablets that are Wi-Fi only. Okay, so there we are. App testing, the Google Fit platform, new Play Games capabilities, and direct carrier billing for tablets. These are 4 new ways that we can help you to create uniquely delightful experiences for your users. Thank you.
Voilà donc, là ici on commence à finir de la présentation de la conférence.
Thanks, Ellie. We are seeing tremendous momentum in Google Play. And we really take
ici le présentateur revient et je pense qu'ici il va quand même clore cette Google. Enfin non, peut-être pas, on va peut-être avoir des autres nouveautés. Mais bon, on en a quand même pas mal. Ah, on voit qu'il y a 5B, donc je sais pas, paid out since last Google I.O. Je sais pas ce que ça veut dire. J'ai pas très bien compris, là c'était un chiffre qu'ils ont lancé, mais j'ai pas compris. Donc ici, il essaye de présenter une chose qui a eu 2,5 fois les payout grow year over year. Donc pendant la dernière conférence l'année dernière, il y a eu 5 billions de dollars qui a été payé pendant l'application téléchargée sur le Play Store. Donc c'est vraiment énorme.
The first is an interesting one. A set of engineers in their 20% time surprised all of us with what you can do just with an off-the-shelf cardboard and your smartphone. And the combination takes you into a
ici, je ne sais pas ce qu'il présente. Il a un bout de carton dans la main. Peut-être en futur une tablette Android ou un outil Google, qui sais-je. Là, il y a une actu qui veut peut-être mettre, je ne sais pas. Donc là, je crois que la I.O. est finie.
Next, we are very excited about Android Wear.
Ouais, il remet le
and so we're going to give each and every one of you either the LG G
donc là,
Watch
voilà, il finit,
or the
clore la I.O.
Samsung Gear Live.
Il remercie les gens qui sont venus, les développeurs. Et donc ici, là, on est à la fin de la
These are great devices and I hope you enjoy them. We don't want you to just create experiences for square-faced watches.
De toute manière, quand je réfléchis, Samsung n'est pas un concurrent de Google, dans la manière à ce que les téléphones Samsung utilisent Android. Donc indirectement, c'est du Google dedans. Donc on a une montre moto, je ne sais pas ce que c'est, une montre Google qu'ils ont créée peut-être.
Across all these computing devices which people are using. It's tough to
Ils ont dû
believe that
s'associer avec une marque qui a créé
une montre.
Alors
we feel
le
humbled
but de
to be
cette
part
montre,
of
j'ai pas
this
très
journey
bien
with
compris ce
you
que
all,
c'était.
and we
On
look
le
forward to
verra.
building more amazing experiences with you.
Voilà.
Thank you. Have a
je
great
crois que c'est avec
conference.
Motorola peut-être. Ah donc là il a fini, il clore la Google I.O. On voit que les développeurs se lèvent, que c'est fini, on a pu voir des montres, des Google Car, Cardboard, enfin, on a pu avoir des nouvelles choses. Là il y a tout le monde qui part. Et voilà, donc on a fini cette merveilleuse conférence Google. Donc j'espère qu'elle vous a plu. On a pu voir quand même beaucoup de choses en termes de nouveautés. Et c'était quand même pas mal. Là on voit que les développeurs sont quand même contents dans l'ensemble. Malgré tout il y a eu des petits soucis lors de cette keynote. Voilà donc j'espère que cette vidéo vous a plu. Cette petite live que Google a fait aujourd'hui. Bon, malgré tout, le live était quand même de mauvaise qualité. Enfin, de bonne qualité, mais je veux dire qu'il y a un moment, il y avait eu des bugs. Et je regrette ces bugs. Donc voilà, j'espère que cette vidéo vous a plu. Et on se retrouve très vite pour l'année prochaine, la conférence de Google, où je serai plus présent et je vous expliquerai plus. Donc voilà, si vous voulez revoir la conférence, ce lien est présent. J'espère que cette vidéo vous a plu et on se retrouve très vite pour de nouvelles vidéos sur la chaîne YouTube. Et n'hésitez pas à vous abonner, c'est vraiment sympa de votre part. Ciao ciao, bye.